Going to do a quick trip report on 2CE. Now, it's going to be pretty quick because I don't have much to say about it, as I only have about 3 experiences on it, and I'm not so sure if they're high dose or low dose. I think they will have been mid-tier doses rather than high or low, so it'd be hard to classify. Anyways, so one of my experiences was in my hometown in a hotel on my way back from another country. I remember receiving a lot of this chemical from a friend of mine. I wouldn't really know what I'd call him. I don't really have a nickname for him, so I'm not going to mention him by name. He's a paranoid schizophrenic. That's as far as I'll tell anyone, I guess. And yeah, me and him have a few different crazy drug connections with each other from time to time, perhaps. Anyway, so he gave me a rather large amount of 2CE, and I was feeling down. I'd just come back from another country, left everything behind again, because I leave this country, leave everything behind, go to a new one, and then obviously the new one becomes my home, and I'll leave it behind again. So yeah, he gave me this 2CE, and I was in the hotel for a couple of days, and the first day I was just not interested. I was upset. The second day I decided I wanted to cheer myself up, and I just thought, well, fuck it, I'll take this 2CE. I took the 2CE, and after a small amount of time I started to come up. I felt a massive elevation in energy very quickly. Quite reminiscent of MD to me, but, other people can say what they want about that kind of thing. Not really major visuals coming on from it. Didn't really get anything insanely great on visuals. I do remember having little flashes of light, and when things sped past, like cars and such, their colour contrasts were a lot sharper, and they're a lot sharper, felt a lot more alive. I do remember feeling a great amount of energy. I remember feeling really alive, really ready to face the world, really bouncy, and I remember my body kind of feeling like a half orgasmic, half, I don't know, half ravey, half dancey, and maybe partly like childish energy, a nice feeling. Like my legs didn't feel, not as though they were melting, as if they were fuzzing, if that makes sense. Fuzzing and jumping. My whole body felt like it was fuzzing and jumping. And I remember I'd stop and I'd feel really strange, a little bit ill, sort of like my head was spinning and like my body was spinning. Then when I ran and when I went into the park and had a little bit of fun, I really enjoyed it. That energy carried me through. It made me just basically want to run around with my friends like a child. I remember going out and dancing and meeting people and shaking hands, and I could feel when they were touching my hands like their hands weren't real and they were just sort of going through me, and I was just getting a big tingle off them. Remember hugging people and sort of running with them and dancing with them, and it felt, like reminiscent of MDMA. It felt like a sort of half MDMA, half phenethylamine kind of body high. Was not as I love other people as MDMA, although I don't really get that as much as other people anyway. But, nonetheless, it was a quite a good experience. Didn't last as long as I'd like, but it lasted me throughout the night. It was mildly visual, extremely physical, extremely nice physically, and very, very uplifting, very, very energetic phenethylamine. I mean, I expect this from a lot of phenethylamines. For example, I had that happen with Embalmy, but Embalmy had too many cons for my liking. This stuff, however, this is the kind of stuff I wouldn't take for a massive spiritual journey. This is more for like a fun cleansing evening, for like a dance party. It's like a psychedelic twin of MD or amphetamine, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, I quite enjoyed 2CE. It's something I'd take again. I think I'll take in much higher doses to explore visual potential if I ever get the chance to have any more. And it's the kind of thing that for myself I could take Pretty much all the time, in the same way one would feel like they could take MDMA all the time. But I did feel a little bit weird the next day, a little bit out of it, similarly to how I feel from MDMA. Although not quite as bad as when you've had a big time on MDMA. So yeah, no cons as such, except that it wasn't extremely visual. But it was psychedelic enough, definitely, in the way it made me feel physically and mentally, definitely. Not so much the crazy thoughts, just more crazy. The feelings that you get were there. The physical feelings and the mental feelings, but the mental feelings were about the thoughts, about mad sporadic thoughts. Nothing like soul moving or soul breaking, more just intriguingly nice psychological feelings and extremely beautiful physical feelings. So yeah, in conclusion, I think 2C is definitely a winner, and it's the kind of thing I'd probably take again. Thank you very much for listening.